Libra extravaganza. How's your week?
Yes.
How's your week going?
Going well. Just had a crazy week. I moved all my belongings from Chicago to Los Angeles. I had to move in the midst of this. I didn't to do to come back and exposed was it was a disaster as far as that goes, but hopefully nothing came of it.
Oh boy.
I didn't take risks. What can I say?
So I'm just saying hi here to the Facebook people. And
yeah, if you guys, this is Dr. Nancy Sutton Pierce. She's live with me on Instagram.
Do you have wine?
And I've got a lot of people saying hello on YouTube.
Well, hi on YouTube.
Wine. We've got question. I think Dr. Nan would like to answer this.
What's that?
What do you think of no fat?
I think it's ridiculous.
So do I. Okay, done with that question.
It's not healthy. I don't know, but there's a whole movement of men that are really supporting unhealthiness for men. It's very interesting to me.
Yeah.
Masturbation and self-pleasure are completely natural. And I think important and healthy. So, but I think what's happened is that they've confused masturbation with porn overuse.
That's true. So, what do we think about NoFap? We think that NoFap is a bad idea because, hey, you're going to get all blocked up there. You got to release it.
Now,
it's also a lot of fun.
As Karen knows, and my friend Lori Handlers, we promote a program for men to learn how to last longer and how to enjoy their orgasms more, the pleasure more, rather than just a means to a quick end all the time. So that when they are being in more of a lover with partner mode, that they have skills and tools and ability to last more than 3 minutes. So there is a different, there is a purpose. But if men learn to self-pleasure with the idea of really expanding their imagination and extending their pleasure, bringing themselves to the brink of orgasm and stopping themselves and learning how to control that, so that they can self-pleasure for 30 minutes at a time, and then their orgasms will be a lot more gratifying, and they might not feel like they're just always needing something else. So there are ways to do that, but just to tell men not to self-pleasure at all,
bad idea.
I think it's missing the point.
Yeah.
So,
why do you ask that? I'd like to know from Brown and Mamba, why are you still on it? Why do you ask the question? Are you considering it, or have you thought about it, or someone tell you should do it?
There's an interesting kind of an underground movement
really?
with men. It's like there's another group of men that are deciding that they're fine without women. They're fine being.
You're talking about Big Town.
What's the acronym?
Is it called MGTOW? Men going their own way?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's another story. I've had I've been on a little discussion we had a little TED with each other many times on my YouTube channel.
So what do you think think's behind that? I mean, and maybe people that are listening could answer that. What's underneath that desire for men to stake that claim?
I don't get it, because everyone has a mother and everyone has a sister or a daughter or some female in their life. And when you say that all women are blanket statements, that you would, it just sounds like all women are evil, and you can't believe that. So I feel like there's some underlying trauma that occurred and make people gravitate towards MGTOW, and it's not something I would want to hang around someone who's involved with that, but I feel bad for the people, and they're like, I don't want to pay any more child support, and I know that that's the reason women want to be with me, just to get money. It's
well. Here's a solution to that, dudes. Wear a condom, or get a vasectomy and save your sperm so that when you really want a child, you've got your sperm saved and you can make a baby with somebody that you trust, that you love, that you want to make a family with. But just to sign off women or to think that it's women's problem, it's, I could go on and on about the whole patriarchy concept and how the wet blanket of our world is patriarchal thinking, and it's harmed both men and women. It's made men think that they're only good for money, and it's made women think we're only good for sex, and it's made us think that about each other. And so I think it's a mess. We got to get we all have to, all men and women and everybody in between, we need to decide, you know what? I enjoy relationships. I enjoy partnerships. How can I be the healthiest partner possible? And how can I be in partnership that's respectful and equal and based on our mutual desire to share a life and witness each other's life? That could make a whole big difference. Don't get me started.
I agree. Don't get me started.
Well, no,
Brown Mamba answered the question. He said, I asked that because I masturbate multiple times every day and have a high sex drive. Vamping often makes me feel guilty, tired, and depressed.
So
so just don't do it as much.
Well, I would say
you don't have to go cold turkey.
I think that there's I don't know how old is this person, but it's not unusual.
Brown Mamba, how old are you? When I stopped for some time, I felt energetic and less depressed and stronger in the gym.
Yeah.
So I mean, why don't you should play around with you? You have to customize what works for you.
Yeah.
So if you found that that's helped you, then stay away from it for a few days or whatever it takes. But go back to it. Don't give it up entirely. And
I really want to be strong about, we need to avoid the words like addicted or do things that pathologize natural behaviors. Everybody's different. And so if somebody is feeling sexually frustrated all day and they're angry and that's their sex energy, then perhaps more frequent masturbation would help them feel balanced. But if you're masturbating to a point that you would deplete your energy and feel lethargic or depressed, I think the guilt is the one thing. Why are you feeling guilty? Whoever told you, where did you get the idea that this was wrong? And if you
people get shamed about masturbation all the time. And
right.
It's like, why are you shamed?
Right.
Women, by the way, guys, there's a lot of guys on the show. Guys, women love to masturbate too. Okay? Yeah. Women are just as horny, maybe more horny than men throughout their lives at different points in their lives. So don't think that this is just a man thing. It's a woman thing too. And you need to separate that whole porn thing from masturbating too. Like, they're not one and the same.
Yeah, and again, somebody else here, I think men are being told that this is an addiction, and it isn't an addiction. Now, if you have if you have an obsessive compulsive disorder, if there may be other ways it manifests, but it might manifest in masturbation. You're not addicted to masturbation. And I've said this before, people who have OCD, they might wash their hands a bazillion times a day, which we all have it now, right? But you might do a behavior that's compulsively done. You're not addicted to the behavior that you're doing. You have an obsessive compulsive disorder that requires therapy and perhaps medication. It's just it's how it manifests. But we have such a aversion to anything that has a sexual connotation to it or a pleasure connotation, that as soon as somebody enjoys a lot of pleasure, now all of a sudden they're a nymphomaniac or they're a sex addict, and we pathologize normal behavior that's just being manifested through perhaps unhealthy channels. So if, I had a guy say to me once, well, how much is too much masturbation? And I said, well,
yeah, that's what someone asked here. If men do it 8 hours a day, is that too much?
Well, I mean, 8 hours a day would seem excessive. So I would say, well, maybe you need a job. Maybe you need a job.
Maybe stop playing so much video games and whatever else you're doing.
Yeah, either a job.
Just said, these are some funny comments. Eric just said, "Great, now I have to masturbate again." And then Brown Mama said, "I'm also Indian and we're horny as fuck."
If you're a man, I don't care what your background is, you're horny as fuck.
Yeah, really. It depends. In certain parts of your life, if you're a young guy in your early 20s or whatever, you're gonna be horny as fuck, and it's a biological reason for that. So, and then Taka Texas says porn kills your sex drive when you have to perform for real. So there is another issue. Like, does porn affect?
I think that
your sex drive when you?
I think young men who are raised with porn as their only meat outlet and their only education, they develop a mindset around sexuality that is not female pleasure driven.
Right, that's another thing.
Right.
You don't want to learn anything from porn.
It's not education. It's not education. It's not education. It's entertainment. So
I have friends that are longtime porn stars. Nina Hartley, for example, who you met. She's like, there's a difference between education and entertainment. Okay.
Big difference. Yeah.
And in being a porn star, you're an entertainer.
Right.
It's an adult entertainer, just like strippers or cam girls.
Yeah. But so I think
they're there to entertain and give people what they want to see. It's not necessarily what really is the truth.
Oh no, it's all for the camera. I mean, it's
for the camera.
Right.
And by the way, she's also told me, and other porn stars have told me, that don't think that all porn dicks are that big. Some of them, it's the angle sometimes of the way they film it, and also and that doesn't mean you should feel like your dick is not big enough because you're looking comparatively to a porn star who's there because they have a big dick.
Right. I mean, people think if you have a big dick, you'll make a great porn star, and that's not true either.
No. Actually,
you have to be an actor. You know, porn stars for the most part are acting the scene. They're acting the pleasure. And I know it's hard to imagine. I know. Sorry.
Are you telling me that's not real? That pizza delivery guy doesn't come over and just fuck the shit out of 3 women?
No.
That's not real?
No, not usually.
Someone says, "Thank you, Karen, for bringing her live on Instagram. It's my pleasure to bring my friend Dr.Nan to you on Instagram and I think, are you able to hear her? The people on YouTube, are you able to hear? Let's see, we got, where can I see her friend on Facebook? Where are you on Facebook now?
If you go to Dr.Nan and Exotic Lifestyle Events, you'll find me, my page.
Dr.Nan, Exotic Lifestyle Events, Talking Texas. I should be a porn star instead of a truck driver. I mean, again, from the male porn stars I've spoken to, it ain't an easy life. I mean, it's kind of hard. I mean, can you imagine having to perform on command as your job? It's not that easy.
No, I mean they have to be able to orgasm on demand. The men, and the women generally don't orgasm. I mean, I think that's the other thing that a lot of people don't.
Well, it's not that they generally don't. There are some that do, but it's not like it's not what it looks like when you see them orgasming or whatever, screaming, all that kind of shit. It's probably bullshit.
When they're looking into the camera, going, oh.
If they're looking in the camera. Now, here's a question for you, Dr. Nan, and I think I might have mentioned this before, but the wine is speaking. When you have an orgasm, do you open your eyes? Are you able to open them when you're having an orgasm? Because I have to close my eyes. I don't know. I'm going to have to ask someone. I don't know that I'm aware of what my eyes are doing. I don't think. For me, if I'm having an orgasm, if I'm coming, I have to close my eyes. I'm just going to focus. I'm wondering what you guys hear. Gary says, "Yes, I can hear her. Porn stars are acting." Yeah, right. And the
Sorry.
sky is red. LOL.
Sorry about that.
Porn stars are. Eric said porn stars are essential workers, and the Talking Texas says, "Yeah, right." Does it hurt when you kiss or make out with a guy with facial stubble? It's funny that you asked me that because my boyfriend is now grown a full-out, huge beard, and truthfully, it's kind of bristly. It's bristly. It's not as soft as like I like when it's like a. But I don't have a choice. He's got a corona beard.
A corona beard.
He wants to keep it that way for like the whole course of it. So we have to hope that this virus ends quickly, just to save my face from getting all, rug burnt.
I mean, definitely. I mean, I think that there have been times when I've made out with somebody that had a goatee or facial hair. And if you're really getting in there and having a great makeout session, you come away and you're almost bleeding. It's like your chin's raw.
Yeah. It can get a little rough. Why do you ask that, Mama? Are you growing one?
And other places can get a little irritated with stubble too.
She said other area. Okay, there you go. A little irritation there in other areas can also happen.
Yeah, a little friction rub.
A little friction, a little frisky friction. Yeah. Anyway, all right. So what's going on in your neck of the woods? How has your week been?
Oof. Well, I've been hired full time by the medical clinics to do all their public relations and health education, and be a liaison between the clinics and the hospitals. And
That's a lot.
Yeah,
That's a lot of work.
Because every day things are changing. I mean, we just made another big shift. So we're watching the numbers, we're watching the trends, the rules around testing, because we were doing some of the testing, but now they've brought.
Let me ask you about that testing. So testing now is you can get tested here in Los Angeles.
Yep.
Either if you're symptomatic or asymptomatic. But what's the point of getting tested if, like, the next day you might go to the grocery store and get reinfected again, and you might get infected. So I mean, what's the point of getting tested?
I think that we're going to find that we're going to probably have to test people who are out in the public a lot more frequently. Right now, these testing centers that California has, and I don't know how other states are doing it, but we just set one up here in Redding, and it's you have to be. They're doing up to the 132 a lane, and they can 4 times that every day, and so you have to be.
Is that the mouth or
The nose.
Oh, that's scary.
Yeah.
I literally, my friend had it done. Said it was so painful. I didn't take like a Valium or something.
It's not comfortable.
Long ass. Did you do one?
No, Mark's getting his tomorrow, actually. So.
He said you haven't done it.
I haven't been anywhere, so it's like
Ask Mark if it's painful.
Yeah, he'll be honest. So right now it's prioritized for healthcare workers and other essential workers, so people that are actually having to go to work every day in a public place and deal with the public.
That
so
would make sense.
They're trying to get all of those people tested. Anybody 65 or over, because they're at risk, and then anybody with any symptoms. They've got a list of about 10 symptoms now that any of those count. So what we're trying to do is do some mass testing quickly so that we can get a beat on how many people are pre-symptomatic or asymptomatic who potentially could be passing the infection unknowingly. Right. So if we can,
this is the question though. Say you know you had it, you tested, you had it, you went through the 2 weeks or whatever. If you got tested again, would it show that you are negative?
If you know, if you're sure you had it and you weren't tested to validate you had it, then what I would do is you need to wait about 21 days or so after you're well, and now you can get the antibody test. And the antibody,
it's different. It's
right?
Different.
That's a blood test. That's a blood. No, that's a blood test. And what we're finding though is that'll only confirm. Possibly confirm or deny that you had the virus in your system. We're not confident yet that it identifies whether or not you're immune, because we're seeing that
that's another thing. We don't know if you can get it again. There's not enough information.
Right. We're still
which is kind of
we're still testing
Can you
that.
imagine if you had it and it's horrible symptoms and then I have to go through that again?
Right. I mean,
I would never leave my house.
It was some of the latest science was a little distressing, because they would put the antibodies in the petri dish with the virus, and normally the antibodies would kind of deactivate the virus, and it wasn't doing that.
Oh, great.
So I mean, we don't know if that's now dependent on what the degree of sickness you got, which would have a stronger antibody response, what other factors there are. So it's still unknown, but.
Wow. All right, wait a second. We got a lot of questions here. Brown Mama said no one's ever complained about, we're back to the beard, but I've only kissed girls clean shaven, and when I don't shave for a day or two, my face feels like sandpaper, and I don't want to upset boo. So keep it
there you go.
Shave clean. What can I tell you? You got plenty of time to do that.
There is.
Yummy, yummy. God, you're beautiful. Thank you. Talk of Texas is Dr. Sexy like you, Karen. Here.
Dr. Sexy?
The YouTubers, they would like to know if Dr. Sexy, she is damn sexy. Look at her. Fucking hottie. It's her.
Dr. Sexy. Thank you. I'll take it.
Talk of Texas, is she sexy? Or what?
It's funny.
It's sexy gal. I wish I was able to figure out a way to get everything out. Good evening. I'm not taking the COVID-19 test. I know that I don't have the virus. All right. Yeah, very sexy. Yummy, thought you were very sexy with a little winky face.
Thank you.
I would just like to hear where everybody's from. You guys that are on here on YouTube and Facebook and Instagram, tell us where you're from, what's happening, what your zodiac sign is, what's going on. How do I find her on Facebook? She just told you. You're in upstate New York.
Yes. So yeah. Dr. Nan, I think it says CEO, Exotic Lifestyle Events or something like that.
Exotic Lifestyle Events. Good evening, Stephen. From Louisiana.
How's Louisiana?
Yeah, one of my all-time favorite places, New Orleans.
That's a fun place.
It's so fun. Yeah, you can get in a lot of trouble there. I got in a lot of trouble there. A lot of trouble.
I have a feeling you could get into a lot of trouble any place you went.
Anywhere.
Yeah.
I have a feeling you could too. I feel like you could get into a lot of trouble.
I have a feeling you're right.
Okay, Yummy is from Michigan and is an Aquarius. And Brendan's a Gemini. Oh, we got Ryan from Southeast Wisconsin. Keith, hello, Miss Karen. Haven't seen you in a while. That's true, Tina, and I missed you in Kansas City, Missouri. Hi, Keith. How are you? Kansas City, Missouri. We got David Bowman, Brooklyn, New York. We got Hyde from Indianapolis. We got the Talk of Texas, who's surprisingly from Texas. Who would have thunk it?
Oh my God. Usually if somebody has Texas in their name, they are probably born, raised, and diehard Texan.
You'd be happy to hear. On my podcast, we just were on a podcast by Michael Bennett from the Dallas Cowboys. Very funny, him and his wife. Great podcast you should listen to. We're going to be on. I don't know when they're going to air this.
That's fun.
Soon. It was a very fun podcast to hear what they were up to. Oliver's from Seattle, Washington. There's a lot of different people from all over the place here. We got B. Woods, Indianapolis.
So I have a Forrest over here from Illinois, and let's see, where is it?
What part of Illinois?
What part of Illinois from Forrest?
I'm the girl from Illinois over here.
That's right. Karen's the Illinois girl.
I was born in Virginia. Believe it or not. My dad was in the Army in Petersburg, Virginia, as a captain, as a doctor in the Army. They moved when I was 9 months old. But I always said that's why I need to stay in a warm climate, because I grew up, like my infancy I was in warm climate.
Oh, gosh.
I was not in Chicago, so it never agreed with me. Chicago, because it's too damn freaking cold.
Forrest is from Rockford. Where's that? How's it?
Rockford is not near where I grew up. I grew up in the north suburbs of Chicago. We're a real diverse group of cougar-loving perverts. I like that, Eric. A podcast we call us the Sneaky Freaks. Let's see. If you guys listen to my podcast called Sex Talk with My Mom, I do that with my son. And, Dr. Nan is featured in my book, but I got the actual hard copies.
I need to get a signed one from you next time I see you.
I need to send you a signed, next time I'll give it to you in person. You got your own signed copy of Fuck Games, Date Cougars. We actually did a podcast this morning. On the podcast all day today. and we talked about the book. And my son interviewed me, thinking he was going to make fun of me, and he ended up looking the book. Like that.
So I have a
He got
shelf.
pleasantly surprised.
I have a bookshelf in my office. You can't see it from here. But I have all the books that people I know and love have written. So I keep a collection of
You know
mine.
what? It's so funny you said that, because we've been, on other people's podcasts, they've written books, and they hand us out. I'm like, what am I supposed to do with all these books? I don't want to throw them out because they sign them and everything, but on the other hand, I don't know if I'm going to read them. So you just save them?
Yeah. Well, let me show you. So I have this wall over here.
You got a wall that looks like a penis.
Can you see it? So that's actually
I can see.
that's actually a door that goes into a closet. It's called
Nice.
a Scooby-Doo door. Scooby-Doo. So
Who made that?
I have my wood maker, a friend of mine.
Scooby-Doo door.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
that whole thing opens up, and then you can, it's got, all my crap in there.
Close it up.
So yeah, so I got all my
How
books
awesome is
displayed.
that idea? I gotta get a Scooby-Doo up.
So we have somebody over here from Detroit, Michigan, Metro Detroit, Michigan, and
What did he tell us his zodiac sign? Because Ryan is a Leo, the king of the all. Yummy, yummy. Women are like fine wine. The older they are, the better they taste. Woo-hoo. Charles Campbell says, hello. Stephen says, I am a virgin. That's okay, Stephen. Save it for the right person. Keith, how can we get our own signed copy of your book, Miss Karen? So purchase the book and we'll talk, and send me an email at karenreport@gmail.com, and I'll try to figure out a way to do this. That's the hard part. If you go to Sex.com, you can buy it there on the merch. We got some merch. We got all kinds of merch. Hey, Ron. This is Ron, and he is an Aquarius. And David is not a virgin. And Ella says, hi, girls. You two sexy girls. It's unfortunate I can't do any book signings.
not yet. I keep thinking, I keep trying to think of positive.
But look how cute this book is. It's so cute.
It is. That you must be so proud. That's so cool.
I'm very proud. I thank you. I mean, I'm proud because, you know what? Dr.Nan wrote some nice stuff. That's why I'm proud.
You have lots of interesting, fun friends that have that support your journey as you do theirs.
You're right. I have, and also guys that wrote in. There's a ton of people that wrote in, like I call it the Cougar Cup Files. That each wrote their own story. Very cool. And then I also have a guy who's had a lot of success with dating older women, and he did a chapter in each book. Not a chapter, but he did a little segment, a little paragraph in each book about his little tips and where he goes in upstate New York in that area to find older women, how he dresses, what he says. He's a salesman, and he's had great success. Yeah, he's he helped out a lot in the book. A lot.
I can't wait to read how he dresses differently for that scene versus the younger crowd.
Yes, he recommends smart casual. So we got a Pisces in the house, and David's a Capricorn, and let's see, Stephen's on Patreon. Thank you. We gotta get Dr.Nan on Patreon.
I know. So Tina's asking, what are we drinking? Are you drinking tonight, Karen?
Oh yeah, I'm drinking tonight. I got a nice Zinfandel, red Zinfandel.
All right, and I have my favorite
Cheers.
Pinot Noir.
Cheers. We're both drinking red.
Yep.
Let's see. Now, Maury Cabran, for some reason, felt the need to say pussy, ass, and nudes.
Okay.
I don't understand why Maury Cabran felt the need to do this.
He's probably 12. That's
I
what.
hope not. Get off of our show if you're
That's what 12-year-old boys do. They just have.
Oh, that makes it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm sure he's 12.
Tina argues with me that She isn't a cougar. I'm 49. She's 67 this year. My friend, companion, lover, and very own personal porn star. Keith, that is fantastic. And I got to tell you something. She's just thinking of cougar in the sense of like what Hollywood portrays cougar as. You know that I've reinvented cougar in a confident, old, unique, genuine, certain race of woman.
Right.
How's that?
Karen is redefining the word cougar.
I redefined it.
Don't.
You're from Brazil.
Don't listen to Hollywood. They're full of phooey.
Don't listen to that.
Yeah.
Phooey. I know it. Okay, here we go. So this guy's from Brazil, Ronaldo. Martinique Fudge. I know exactly what that is, a guy with no subtlety. Pisces and a firefighter. I have a thing for firefighters.
I've had a lot of things for firefighters. I have some stories for another book on different uniforms. We could do a men in uniform book. I had a whole season of firefighters. Oh dear Lord, that was fun.
I didn't have as many firefighters, but I did have like famous sports players, like tennis players, golfers, all kinds of interesting applications. Mm-hmm. Ryan says, wish I could have one with you. Okay, but I'm at work. Oh, glass of wine. Okay. Hey, Karen, how you doing? Kyle, how would you feel about younger black men? That's another question I get constantly asked. Why is that such an important question to ask?
Because he's a black guy.
Is it because you're a black man? 77 Rumble. I'm guessing you are, but maybe you're just curious.
This guy comes in with ass again. What the hell is wrong with him?
Yeah. I don't know. I was really talking about the one dude who posted those 3 comments. I'm saying that guy has no game.
You're right. No game.
Yes. Cheers, David Bowman with the beer. Yummy, yummy tutu. Would a cougar be a woman going after younger guys that are old enough to be their son? Would that be a cougar? You know, it really depends on like how old the son is. I mean, if the son is 6, that's probably not cool. But if the son is like in his 30s, that's another question I get all the time. What's the youngest guy you'd ever go out?
Well,
it's hard to say.
The question you get that pisses me off for you is when they ask you if you're having sex with your son. You know, it's like, give me a break. You know, give me a fucking break.
I get that all over freaking time. Well, you guys, because it's like there's a whole genre of porn now with the, stepmom and this and that, and it's so stupid.
Yeah, I mean, I think the reality is when you raise a child or you have a child that's your child, whatever age they are, they always still look like a kid to you. You always still think of them as a kid. You could be dating somebody their age or younger who looks like a man to you.
Right,
it's a very different mindset.
That is absolutely true.
Yeah.
That's how I feel. It's like almost like grossing out. It's like, would you want to date your mother? No.
No. And I think
something about that. I get into listen, I'm not one to yuck anybody's jump. I can get into foot fetishes. I can get into
I have a lot of foot fetish people here on my Facebook.
Oh shit. Okay. Here we go. A little freebie for you guys.
Oh, Karen just flashed to her feet. I'm sorry you missed it.
I flashed. I can get into pretty much anything, BDS. Any of these things, it's whatever floats your boat. But there's, even if it was, kooky stuff that no one's ever heard of. But as long as there's 2 consenting people, I don't care. I don't judge. But I just, something about the whole, family member sex, it doesn't rub me the right way. No,
I mean, there's, and I'm with you. I tried because I've had some clients in the past that have had that has been their thing, is having sex with some women that are having sex with their sons, and generally they're from different cultures, and they've been fairly isolated, and they're so, but I talk about the mindset of that and the potential harm that could do to that person's future relationships.
Oh,
you know.
yeah, for sure.
So, I mean, it's really, I've had to face my own judgments around that. You know, I think, well, when you become a sexologist, you have to face judgments on everything. So
Yeah.
you do your own bias work. But there are still some things that kind of bristle you a little bit, like that one.
Yeah, I think incest is the where I draw the line. I'm sorry if that's the case, but it is.
Yeah. I mean, because it's
David would like to.
What?
David would like you to know that he has an ass fetish. Okay.
Thank you for sharing.
Thank you for sharing. Yummy, yummy, tutu. My fetish is older women. Not surprised. What is your email? If I can answer this. Okay, so go to Karen Lee. It's my name, Karen Lee Holder@gmail.com. And email me, and I'll try to figure out what I can do with this book signing situation because I don't even want to go to the post office. So I don't know how I'm going to get these books out to you. But if you hang on to them, we'll figure it out.
You can. I mean, they can pick them up. You can do all your packaging and stuff and get a label online and set up a time, and they'll pick it up.
Pick it up where?
Like downstairs at your place.
Oh, I don't want anybody coming to my place.
No. The post office.
The post office coming. I'm like, I'm not having people coming over.
No. I wouldn't.
I hear you.
I wouldn't give them.
Yeah,
I wouldn't give out your address.
We'll brainstorm ideas. Yeah, just come over and hang out over here until I bring a book down to you. No, not a great idea.
So somebody said that the incestual relationship sounds like a Jerry Springer show.
It does sound like a Jerry Springer show.
Yeah.
So, I mean, really, some of these things, all right, I'm writing it down here. If you guys want to donate a little money our way, feel free to do a super chat if you're on YouTube here. There's a little dollar sign. We have Venmo too. Do you have Venmo, I'm assuming?
Yeah. Well, and I think that,
Venmo
I mean, you want to, Karen and I have been doing this every week now. This is like our fourth week. And we would love to continue it. But right now it's fairly easy for us to fit this into our week. Not only do we really love each other and we really enjoy each other's company, but this is a fun thing for us to do right now. But as life starts to move on and we start to go back to our real jobs and our bigger lives, it's going to be harder for us to carve out this time every week. So we will need some encouragement to do that. And generally supporting with a few bucks helps us buy wine.
Right. Buy wine. We need to pay for these addictions.
We need a wine fund.
Yeah. So on my Venmo, I'm going to put both our Venmos here. My Venmo is my name again.
God, I don't find
Actually,
mine.
I think it might be Karen Potter, but I think it's just Karen Potter, I think.
I'll have to give you mine later. I can't remember what it is. Not in my phone's busy.
Yeah. And hers is probably Nancy Sutton Pierce.
Probably.
I'm guessing. But anyway, well, if you Venmo me, I'll give half to Nan.
You're so sweet.
Or you can just super chat here on
Okay, so
YouTube.
Douglas wants to know what kind of fetish do we have, if any. Do you have a fetish, Karen?
I like variety with sex. I like role playing. I can get into some soft BDSM stuff. What else do I like? I can get into pretty much just experimenting with a lot of different things. What are you?
I like sensual stuff. So my husband is the master of sensual domination. So where I tend to be more dominant personality wise and outward personality and socially and that kind of thing, he's much more dominant in our personal life. And
me too, and I think because we like to somehow give up the reins to them, let them take it over in the bedroom.
Well, and it takes a lot.
Are you a pillow princess?
A pillow princess? What do you mean?
I was not a pillow princess.
What's a pillow princess?
By Nina Hardy. It's not like a starfish that lays back. It's just someone who just really gets into the whole pleasure of it, and it is more of a sub than a dom.
I like to flip it up. So
you're a switch.
I'm a switcher. One of my favorite things, boy, this is revealing. I've had a half a glass of wine. One of my favorite things is to start off dominant and be the aggressor and be the, to be the pleasure giver and to, not let somebody do something. I've got strong arms, so I like to try to hold somebody down, which usually they kind of let me. And then as things heat up, I like that table flipped. And then I like to be dominated. So that's kind of one of the.
Do you have a safe word every time? Is it a different safe word, or do you not have safe words?
I mean, with Mark and I've been together for so many years that he would be able to read my body language. So
like when you're screaming and biting him, then he just says stop.
Well, yeah. If I'm like,
We're not doing that tonight.
No.
All right, let me figure out. Okay, we'll take postage or whatever. We'll email you and figure it out. Love your bunches. Hope to see you again. Be safe and healthy. Yeah, everyone be safe.
Yeah.
Be safe and healthy. Can you tell that I'm mumbling because I'm now completely drunk because I had like 5 sips of wine?
You're a cheap date.
Okay, Bear says old people having sex are gross.
What the fuck?
You're on the wrong fucking channel.
Yeah, bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Feel free to leave. No one told you need to stay here, but we are old and having sex.
Oh, yeah, and we're having lots of sex, so Bear, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
And Bear, I really hope that when you're older and you're having sex, that you remember this moment.
Exactly. Remember the moment that you thought it was gross because you'll probably be doing it.
I love to tell people, who are young and insulting people who are older. Oh, baby, you can't even see the corners that I can see around and beyond. So hang on to your hat because you can only hope that you get to where I am.
Exactly.
You could just hang on and hope.
You hope that you are still sexually active because you're probably going to have with that attitude, a bad attitude, and probably won't have a partner willing to do it with you.
Exactly.
Ryan Sullivan, okay, here we go. We got some questions here for you.
Okay.
My lady, this is Talk of Texas. My lady liked me to choke her, and she liked me to bite her. She also liked a finger in her ass, LMAO. So you got a fun lady. Keith,
enjoy.
Keith loves to get on top of me and ride me in the sunset like the Westerns. Yeehaw! And Ryan says, what's one fetish you have that you have not yet tried or have not had the chance to try? Well, Nancy probably has 0.
When they post those little tests on social media, like, what's your sex score? And everybody's posting it, and I look at the list and I go, oh hell, I'm not even gonna play this.
Well, here's another question. If you don't want to play it, what about thinking and another woman while fucking my girlfriend, like her best friend? I think that's totally fine. You know what? It's, to me, you have a right to your fantasies. Think about whatever you want. It wouldn't bother me because I'm pretty confident in my own sexuality. Why would you feel that it's not? Why would you feel that the need to ask? Are you concerned? And Nancy, what would you think about that?
So what was that again? What about thinking
What about thinking?
Well, I think you're allowed to think whatever the hell you want to think. Nobody should ever have an opinion about what you're thinking. Nobody can direct your thoughts.
You should have at least your fantasies.
It's like fantasy. I had a conversation with a couple not too long ago, and she was adamant that if her husband was having a fantasy, he was cheating on her, and he was not allowed to have his fantasies. And it was all I could do not to laugh and say, how are you going to police that?
Yeah, really. How do you know if it's true or not?
What?
He could be fantasizing about fucking a goat. What are you going to do?
Seriously. So that's some major, but we have a lot of twisted up thinking. I started watching these 2 shows. One was Too Hot to Handle. It's on Netflix. You got to watch it.
Good.
And Married at First Sight. Okay, these are incredible experiments of human beings.
Yeah, it's called love at first
No,
sight.
it's married at first sight. There's another one, and where people
and they end up getting engaged, right?
No, they meet at the altar.
Oh,
and
it's like an arranged marriage.
It is, and because they have these 3 psychologists that do all this intake stuff, and then they match these people.
I see that.
It's incredible. But what you realize is how many people have these preconceived beliefs and ideas about how a relationship's supposed to be, what marriage is, what a husband's supposed to do, what a wife's supposed to do, and it's all just made up bullshit. And then they get into these relationships, and all they can be is disappointed.
Of course, because how can you have expectations of someone and then it's impossible to fulfill them?
Yeah, it's totally impossible.
Let's see. Older women make better lovers.
Older women make better lovers.
Donnie from Oklahoma said that.
You know, I don't
think older women make better lovers. Give us a thumbs up.
Well, you know, I don't know that that's true across the board because I'm only one person. But I know that if you stay healthy and you stay active and you stay interested in life, you know, great sex can happen if you have a willing partner. And I think that's the thing, is finding a partner that's wanting to explore and be playful with you rather than have the expectation that your partner is always going to meet your needs. You have to be willing to meet your own needs in a certain way, and then to be able to express your needs as they change. Because I certainly am not the same person I was 20 years ago.
No.
You know, and neither is my husband. So, you know, it's we have to it's a journey. And I certainly would never try to hold him to who he was and shame him for being different. I am excited to see the evolution.
I kind of like it too. I think it's important to grow all the time.
Always.
Whether or not, you know, you can try some things. Hey, that doesn't, you know, it can work for a little bit, and then you can say, hey, I'm done with that. Let's go back to the way it was. You know, just be open. Would you fuck a married man?
I was just saying that. I fuck one all the time.
Good answer.
Yep, I would. As often as possible.
All right, we got relationship advice for Ryan. 3 biggest things a relationship needs: loyalty, honesty, and communication. Everything else builds on that. Loyalty, honesty, communication.
I think I think there's one thing that's missing. A key ingredient that's missing is kindness.
He said, what did he say? Loyalty, honesty, and you're right. Kindness, that's very important. And kindness. I would add a sense of humor.
Yes. But I think that,
at least for me,
people think
you need someone kind. You need someone who is extremely People don't have enough empathy for one another.
You cannot be unkind to your partner and expect to have respect, trust, or honesty. So or loyalty that you're not going to get or sex. You're not going to get any of those things if you're unkind. So I think kindness is first.
So does that, Ryan, tell us what you think about that. My sense of humor gets me in trouble. Moises, love you too.
So why
Brendan says I want Nancy. I would definitely fuck a married woman, LOL. Ronaldo, why? Good morning to Rashid. Where are you from? Oh my God, I want Nancy and I want to Nancy. I don't know what the heck that means.
I don't know what to Nancy is either.
He wants you, Nancy. Nancy, he wants you. You are wanted. It's good to feel wanted, right?
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, well, we are winding down here. We always said we're going to do a half hour, but it ends up being an hour. Because,
I know.
You know,
we just have too much. We have so much fun.
We do have fun. It's a nice way to wind down the week.
Yeah.
And I want you, Karen, All right, so we're wanted. Both of us are wanted. That's very good.
That's sweet.
That's sweet.
That's sweet.
If you're just joining us here on YouTube or Instagram, I am here whenever I can. Thursdays, we're doing it every other Thursday. We do either mine or Dr. Nan Pierce's, what's it called again? It's
Exotic lifestyle events. The Instagram page, yeah.
Exotic lifestyle events.
Yeah.
Follow Nancy over there, and she's got a Facebook page too. Well, you can follow her there. If you want to join me on my Patreon page, I have exclusive content on my Patreon. It's patreon.com/Karen Reedy. I'm gonna set Nancy up next week with a Patreon page so you can support her there. If there's anything that you guys want us to talk about, let us know in the comment section below on YouTube here or on Instagram. And anything you want to share?
We're wanted by a few people. That's so sweet. I wonder if they would know what to do with us if they got us.
You'd be like, oh boy, that's my boyfriend. She's a little too hot to handle.
I was wondering. You know, I've had men tell me that being that I'm a sex doctor, that's a little intimidating. And I go, well, why is that? And then they say, well, because you're going to be grading me.
Yeah, you need to get an A+, baby.
I'm not grading you. Well, kind of.
Taka Texas says, you ladies make a great team. Thank you. Hyatt saying beautiful. Saguru Singh says you're going to be hard. Taka Texas.
TMI.
Yeah.
So let me just tell men this. I'd just like to say one thing to men. Unless we're in the same room with you and we consensually have agreed to be intimate with you, telling us you have an erection is gross.
You said it all.
It's
okay,
just,
we're like, why are you doing that?
it is just not hot. It makes you look like a total asshole. It's like, so the fuck what?
Walls to yourself, okay?
Too much information. We don't care about your penis.
Here's what I think. I think the reason that guys like to tell us that they get an erection to us because they would like to think that we are soaking wet because of that.
Well,
unfortunately, we don't know who the fuck you are.
It's not happening.
So we're not soaking wet because of you, but I mean, it's a lovely thought.
God.
Joe says, greetings, Karen Lee and Dr. Nan, and yeah. So that's it.
On that note.
On that note, keep your erection. Go back off somewhere else.
Really?
Have a nice day.
You know, more power to you.
Enjoy yourself.
We salute your salute, but we don't really need to know about it.
We salute your salute. Exactly, Karen. That is true. Okay.
Here's the thing that that men need to understand too, is that their penis is primarily for their pleasure. Unless we are wound up and excited and want you specifically in our space right now, your penis doesn't do shit for us.
I had a friend who was dating this older man. I say older because he was much older. Much. And she said that he would literally stick his leg onto the bed and go, look what's here, it's Mr. Happy. She's like, what the fuck? What is that?
Well, you know, when you're
happy.
But when you're in an intimate relationship with somebody and you've been sexual and you have that permission and it's that banter, that can be kind of naughty fun, you know? That's a whole different thing than having a total stranger.
She wasn't into him sexually.
Oh, well, then that's not a good thing.
I think that's why it didn't work.
Yeah.
Alex says cougars are hot. Do any of you guys, this is one last question. Tell the wine who's talking. Does anybody name their penis?
Karen wants to know, have you named your penis?
I'd like to know if anyone has named their penis.
Have you ever named your vulva?
Yes. This is Princess Pussy down there.
Princess Pussy?
Actually, this is another funny, sir. My late husband named his penis. My late husband named his penis Lester.
Lester the molester?
Lester the molester. And I once, after he passed away, I met a guy named Lester.
Oh no.
And of course, what do you think Miss Mouth that I am said to the guy?
Oh.
Lester, that's the name that of my late husband's penis. He goes, well, I've been called a dick before, but this takes the cake.
Really? In memory of.
In memory of Lester. Okay? Which I have to say, he knew what to do with it.
Okay.
No, Joe did not name his penis. Oh, wait. No, I did not name mine, Caroline. Well, think about it. If you didn't name your penis something, what would it be called? Tonka, Texas. I'm sure it would have something with Texas in the name.
Yeah. Or something with the word big, because everything in Texas is big, right? Everything in Texas is supersized.
The big Longhorn or something.
Yeah.
I'm coming up with the doozies today. Big John is talking Texas. We knew it. Big John is
Big John,
Texas.
yeah.
How's Big John doing?
So somebody just said their names is Snoopy.
Snoopy. That's cute. Snoopy's cute.
It says
Right?
it was,
Saying, in all honesty, my one ex did name mine. I won't go into detail to keep it clean, but yes, I've been down the name road before. Yeah, I mean, it's nice. Do you have a name for your vulva?
Danger Zone.
No? Danger Zone. Danger Zone. That's a good one. Dr.Nan. Danger Zone.
Mark tells
She's going in there.
Mark tells me I ruin men.
Ruin that. Okay. Oh my God, I love this girl. Do you see why I love her? Because who else would say that besides me and her? Anyway. Well,
Oh, so Ben says
you make...
if he named it, it would be Locomotive.
Shoo. I think I can. Right?
I think he's like, going in.
Oh, Alex's name, my penis name is Pee-Pee, pronounced Pee-Pee because I'm French.
Pepe. It was Pepe.
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 Okay, the talk of Texas. My tongue is the Texas tornado.
Oh.
Simbu said both of you make me laugh tonight. We're entertained, abuse,
That's right.
whatever.
The Texas tornado. I'm going to be thinking about that one.
Texas tornado. That's his tongue, not his dick.
Woo. Yeah.
If you've got a name for your dick, let us know in the comment section below. And make it a good one. You know, the thing about change, you can change it up. It's not like I got two that you're stuck with, you know. So you know, like the first name you came up with.
Just don't tattoo it.
The thing about you can change it up. It's not like I got two that you're stuck with, you know. So,
I think I just got canceled. I just got canceled on Karen's. Instagram has a 1 hour limit, so we went to it. All right, you guys, see you next week. Same time, same channel. Maybe we'll do 5 or 6. What do you think? Do you like this time better? Does 5 work better for you, or 6 o'clock right now, wherever you are? I'm West Coast. So let me know what you liked about the show, and if you'd like us to keep coming back every for wine time with Karen and myself. All right, have a great rest of your week. Take care of yourselves. Please be safe, and don't listen to all that crap that's being said out there, and the lies and the BS. Be safe. If you go out in public, wear your mask. Just do the right thing for other people to be safe, and wash your hands, and just be conscientious. This is we're in a very strange time, and what we need to do is more kind and thoughtful, and instead of being worried about what we're not doing or where our own fears, because we all have them, we need to realize that we're all in the same boat for the most part. certainly there are people that are more afraid or more desperate, and I understand that. We want to get those people out as quickly as possible. We want all to get back to our normal lives. So just be mindful that this is a time that we need to have more compassion and be kinder. This is not a hoax. Don't listen to those conspiracy theories. Put your phone down, go outside and get some sunshine on your face if you can, and but do be mindful that we're still in the midst of trying to contain this massive global pandemic. It's not, we can do it. We can do it. I believe we can. So, all right. Thank you. Much love to you, your families, and everybody that you care about.